Hi everyone, it's Nichol Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited to be sharing some birthday cards using layering stencils from Pretty Pink Posh's February 2022 birthday release. This is the 8th year of Pretty Pink Posh and I'm so super excited to be sharing some fun projects today. This video is all about the love of layering stencils. How much do we love layering stencils, you guys? And you are going to want these 3 brand new sets from Pretty Pink Posh because they are amazing. We're going to start with the layering cupcakes, and I'm using some of my favorite Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively saturated inks to create the cupcake wrappers first. So each set has 3 stencils. The cupcakes are what we're going to do first, and you might notice I'm kind of doing a diagonal type of stripe with my color. So I started with bubblegum ink. That was my light pink ink, and now I'm using blush as my base for the red color. Then we're going to move to melon for the orange. I'm also using the smaller blending brushes from Simon Says Stamp, as it really allows me to just get the color in the section that I'm wanting to add the color to, and it doesn't migrate really anywhere else. If there's a little bit of crossover, it's not the end of the world, but I really found that these small blending brushes worked fantastic for keeping the color right where I wanted it to go. Next, we're going to move on to our yellow color, which is our lemonade color. And then we will move on to celery next, and then seafoam and marine. So our colors here, I think the pink colors are kind of a pinky purple. So we're going to kind of consider that our purple for our rainbow. And then we've got red, orange, yellow, green, aqua, and blue. We're going to just finish out. So each corner is going to be a different color of blue. The bottom right will be our aqua, which this is the base of seafoam. And then our top left is going to be the blue color, which is a base of marine. Now this is quite a lot of stenciling. I will speed up the video a little bit here to save some time because I do move from color to color pretty quickly. We're going to move on to the second stencil in this layering cupcakes set, and I am using Latte with my brown blending brush. Now, my blending brush, I think, needed a little bath. It needed a visit to the spa. It was a little, I don't know, my word is crunchy. I think the ink had dried on it. I don't use brown a lot. And so I kind of had to rub the bristles in a microfiber cloth a bit, and then I'm very, very lightly inking it up with this Latte ink, and I blended the top of my cupcakes with that. Then we're going to move on to the third layer, which is the design for the cupcake wrappers, as well as the sprinkles on top of our cupcakes. You guys, this is so amazing. You will notice I'm not doing any special masking, but I am going to go ahead and do a tone on tone for the cupcake wrappers. So for the green, I am using the next, I believe it's Limeade. For the aqua, I used Surf. I'm using Sunbeam for the yellow. We're going to use Cantaloupe as the darker color for orange, Pucker for the red, Sweets for the pink, and then for the dark blue, I used Cadet. And I started with the cupcake wrappers, and then I decided while I had that blending brush out, I would just kind of skip around and add sprinkles to the top of the cupcakes. Not a super huge rhyme or reason. So I did tone on tone for the wrappers, but then I'm just going to move around. I tried to do visual triangles when adding the sprinkles to the cupcakes. That wasn't always possible, but I want a nice assortment of color for those sprinkles. So it basically looks like a hot mess right now, but I promise when I pull this off, you guys, you have a custom amazing background in any color that you choose. Yes, I opted to go the rainbow route with bright and colorful, but you could do this in any color. You could do just a single row instead of an entire background, or a couple of rows, or you could mix the candles, presents, and cupcakes together. There are so many things you can do with these new sets of stencils. Oh my goodness, you guys, how beautiful is that? I can't even tell you how excited I was when I pulled that away. Okay, I know you can kind of see the presents up in the top of the screen. Just ignore that. Pretend it's like the Wizard of Oz, that there's nothing behind the curtain. I did not like my first presents stenciled background, so I'm actually going to redo that, and I will do it after the candles. But I wanted to show you the candles next. Again, 3 stencils per set. Now, this would be a lot easier if you wanted to do all one color or each row a different color. But you guys know me, and I tend to go over the top and kind of extra. I am doing each candle individually. I'm not having to mask anything off using these small blending brushes, even with the candles this close together. And I hope when you see the ending results, you can see how easy it is to get similar kinds of candles and designs. So all the same colors as before. The pink is bubblegum, the red was blush, the orange is melon, I believe the yellow is called lemonade. I do have all of these Pawsitively saturated ink colors linked down below the video here on YouTube for easy reference. You will notice I'm just creating a pattern. I am simply repeating this pattern throughout the entire panel, and I really like how it ends up scattering them throughout so it's not uniform. And then we've got a little celery. It's so pretty already. Then we're going to have seafoam and marine. And this is the first layer. The second layer for our candles is coming up. There's going to be the little flickering, the little lit candle up at the top. That will be the next stencil. And then finally the layering stencil to add the decorative element to the candles. You can use it with or without. I, of course, had to use it. Even that is really cute. That's kind of a fun, like, modern background. So now I'm going to go back with my Sunbeam ink, and we're going to ink up every single one of the tops of the candles with this. But I couldn't leave it just like that. So I'm taking my orange blending brush, which is inked up with a little bit of melon ink or cantaloupe. It might be cantaloupe at this point. And I'm very, very lightly adding a little bit of this, so it's a two-tone top of the candle. Oh my gosh, how cute is that? Next, we're going to take our third and final stencil for the layering candles and add that extra layer. I already have my yellow Sunbeam ink out, so we'll do the yellow. I really did not go in order at all. We have limeade next. That's going to be our limey green. We have our surf color for the aqua or the teal. We've got sweets for the pink or pinky purple. I really kind of think it's a nice cross between pink and purple since there's not a purple set yet from the Pawsitively saturated inks. And then we've got our pucker ink for the red. And finally, we have a little cantaloupe for the orange and cadet for the blue. And it's so easy to line up. I simply just held it in place with one hand while I stenciled. Oh my gosh, I love, love, love those candles. All right, we are going to move on to the presents. So the first time I did the presents, I just didn't like how I stenciled it. So I actually kind of went back and reworked it, and we're going to do kind of similar to the candles where we go every other present and create a pattern. Now, the only difference here is with the presents, we have the box, we have like the design on the gift packaging, and then there's a bow. Well, the bow overlaps, it's like 3 layering stencils. So the difference here is I'm actually going to take all 3 colors in each trio of Pawsitively saturated inks, and we're going to use all 3 for each color, so it just gradually gets darker. It's very tone on tone, and I ended up really liking it now that I reworked it. Sometimes the first card is not a hit. I know someone recently asked me if I have misses. I do have misses. Sometimes I post them anyway, and I don't really tell you guys that I think it's a miss or it's a miss for me, because generally you guys like I think other people don't see it. Does that make sense? I think that we are so much more critical of our own work than what others are. So it's probably things that you only see, and I want to encourage you to just kind of keep working through it, or don't be afraid to completely start over like I did here. It's just some paper and some ink. Don't be afraid to just start again. I had another panel, another A2 size panel already cut, because I cut a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock in 2/4. And so I simply just pitched the one I didn't like. I threw it away. So the boxes are not quite as impressive yet, but we're going to take the second stencil, which is the pattern layering, and again we're going to work over the top. Now, the only difference in ink base color that I did for the base of the boxes was I went to the cheeky ink for the red pattern. So the layering ink that I've added was blush, which blush was what I was using as my lighter color before. But other than that, everything is really the same. We're just going to go and grab all of the darkest colors and pull those in. And we will talk a little bit more about that when I start inking up the bows on the top of the packages. I love when I pull this away and you see all of the cool designs on these stencils. I don't know about you guys, but layering stencils are totally my jam. They make creating beautiful designs so easy and so eye-catching. If coloring is not your thing, I highly encourage you to try some layering stencils, as it is such a great way to get multicolored professional results. So now we've got our bows, and I'm taking my darkest ink here, which I believe is citrine, for yellow. And I went ahead and did yellow first, and I did yellow first on purpose. While I don't think there's a ton of transfer, if you do your lighter color first, you aren't going to pick up, let's say, like the dark orange next to it and pull that into the yellow. So I did try to do the lighter color first. Ocean is my dark color for the aqua. We have Royal for the blue, Perfection for green, Taffy for the, I'm just going to straight, that's purple. To me, that's purple, not pink. Well, I guess it could be a dark pink. I don't know, you guys. You tell me. Here's that Royal blue. And I think I had to go grab Perfection. I think I forgot to grab it out of the drawer. So we just need to line that back up. And it looks like a hot mess till you pull it away. But these little mini blending brushes are definitely a game changer, as they make it so you don't have to mask anything off. These backgrounds were created relatively quickly. Oh my gosh, I love them so much. Imagine doing those in Christmas colors at Christmas time. So not only for birthdays, definitely consider doing this at other times as well. So I'm going to take another new product. This is the Birthday Scripts Stamps and Dies. And I'm going to build different greetings. I've already laid them out on my backgrounds for each of these cards. With doing so much work for the backgrounds, I want the backgrounds to really shine for these particular cards. And because of that, I'm keeping my sentiments pretty minimal, and I'm using my favorite go-to background technique when I want to add a little something, but not take away from the background. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but I am going to stamp all of my sentiments from that Birthday Scripts stamp set right now. This is an amazing stamp set. I love the coordinating dies. I know Coordinating dies for scripty stamp sets have become, or for greetings period, have become very popular. These die cut around the sentiments so nicely. They die cut like the inside loops of the letter Y's and things like that. You guys, I really, really like them. I opted to do a dark gray cardstock instead of black. I felt like it would soften the look a little bit and not be quite as harsh as a black sentiment strip and a black background would be. Gray is my go-to if I want it to be a little softer. It's still nice and dark. It's still going to show up really nicely against a bright, colorful background, busy background. But again, it's not quite as harsh. So my favorite go-to technique is the A2 frames, where you die cut a little skinny mini thin frame from the background and you replace it with a contrasting color of frame. In this case, we're going to go ahead and do that same Simon Says stamp slate gray cardstock, and we're going to inlay that into the background. It takes nothing away from the background of the card, but it just kind of helps frame up the greetings and add a little something to the design. I am opting to use 2 different sizes for my cards here. I will not keep all of this in the video. It's not that super time consuming, but adding little foam adhesive squares to the back of all of my sentiments and things was a little time consuming. Plus I'm a little down and out right now. I know some of you might have heard me say I hurt my knee. I'm still waiting to get in for my MRI to see, you know, what the damage is. And so I'm having to like sit a lot, and you guys might not know this, but I don't sit to craft, and it has really hindered my crafting. I do not like it at all. I really like to stand because I move around and I go to my drawers and I get things out. So long story short, I sped this up a bit and I cut out some of it just simply because it's assembling. But I wanted to show you, I take the outer frame that I die cut from the panel. It turns into a frame, but it's that outer border. Then I place the cardstock frame in that little skinny mini A2 thin frame, and then I replace the center panel. So it's completely flat, but look at the difference in backgrounds between the cupcakes and the presents. It just adds the perfect finishing touch. This has been a go-to technique of mine for several years now. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's something I go to a lot especially if I spend a lot of time on a background like I did for these. They did come together pretty quick, but I don't want to cover them all up. I don't really want to cut them down. I want that background to be the star of the show with a beautiful sentiment right on top. And so it just kind of finishes everything off perfectly. For our cupcake background, I chose to use Happy Birthday Wishes. And yes, you guys, I don't think I got birthday very straight. I actually ended up fixing it off camera. I don't know why that always happens when I photograph the card. I think it looks fine when I finish it, and then I photograph it and edit it, and I'm like, wow, my sentiment strip is not straight. So I did fix it. Forgive me, it's not very straight here in the video. And I love it. I really tried to do a different greeting on each card. There are new confetti pieces and also like new pearls in the Pretty Pink Posh release. I'm going to use the confetti here. I also used Nuvo crystal drops in White Blizzard on like the large star confetti and heart confetti on the cupcakes just for a little sparkly touch. Gonna just add these little confetti pieces to a few areas on my card. I love them. Happy, bright. I went ahead and finished the present card. I'm adding Nuvo crystal drops to the flames on all of my candles and need to let that dry. Add a little confetti. All of my greetings are popped up. I just pieced together some foam adhesive back behind the greetings on all of the cards. It did take a little bit of work just because they're kind of delicate, but I do like them popped up off of the background a little bit more, and I really, really love how they turned out. You will notice this frame is a little bit smaller than the other two. I just thought it fit better with the sentiments that I used. And that is it, you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video showcasing For the Love of Layering Stencils using brand new Pretty Pink Posh products from the February 2022 8th birthday release and celebration. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. If you would like to become a member of Patreon, please click the link down below. We would love to have you there. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new card making video. Here is another video that you might be interested in. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Bye!